Hi, I'm Chris, and this week's practice is all about releasing the upper back. So we're going to do that today in a really passive way, taking crocodile pose. We're going to spend about a couple minutes letting gravity do the work and helping us to release those big muscles in the back. So we're going to begin like we usually do, taking the time to get settled in our seat, tilting the pelvis forward slightly, lengthening the spine up, and coming into the natural curve of our spine. So again, not feeling like we're tilting forward or back here, really being able to balance upright with very little effort. If it's comfortable, you're going to go ahead and close down the eyes here, bringing the gaze anywhere lower than the cheekbones, making sure the eyes aren't moving around in the head. Without controlling the breath, just give yourself these first few moments to simply scan your body, noticing how it feels to be here now. And then gently bringing the awareness onto your mind. Taking some inventory here, noticing its activity. And then a reminder that we're not looking to push the thoughts out of the mind, but we're also not trying to get wrapped up in them. Instead, we'll start to take a non-judgmental observer role and simply notice. Eventually, the thoughts will begin to fade into the background as you begin to feature your breath center stage. Wherever the breath is most prominent, maybe at the belly, at the chest, or even at the nostrils, helping to concentrate the mind. Take about a minute here, meditating on the breath, noticing exactly when the inhale begins, when the inhale ends, noticing the brief pause before the exhale begins, and the exhale ends. Whenever the mind wanders, which of course we know it will, just gently but firmly guide it back to paying attention to the breath. Allowing any emotions to arise and pass. And letting any thoughts come and go. And then bringing awareness gently down towards your heart. Giving yourself the time to connect to any intention that you have for your practice. It can be as simple as relaxing or releasing the upper back. You can always use this time to dedicate your practice, maybe a person, even yourself. And keeping the jaw relaxed, softening the tongue. Begin to deepen your breath, starting to create a smooth, even quality breath in and out of your nose. Spend the next few cycles of breath working the length of your inhale to be the same length as your exhale. And if you notice that the mind was extra active, you can use the concentrating technique of counting the length of your in-breath and counting the length of your out-breath. Letting each cycle of breath draw your senses further inside. Feeling those subtle sensations of the breath inside the body. And staying connected to the breath. take your time as you slowly and gently open the eyes. So we'll begin in a variation of crocodile pose where you're going to come and lay on the front body. So laying down onto the mat, you'll go ahead, stack the wrists, and then make sure that your elbows are higher than stacked wrists. You'll notice that you're sort of promoting this rounding of the upper back. And then you'll gently rest on the belly here, relaxing the forehead down onto the wrists. Okay. So let's go ahead and make that transition now. Rest the middle of your forehead on the stacked wrists, letting the neck be long and free. Gently release the shoulders away from the ears. Now soften the front body onto the mat, pressing the outer thighs down as you draw the inner thighs up, really feeling a widening or an opening of the lower back here. Gently release the tops of the feet onto the mat, stretching the ankles, maybe even spreading the toes. And relax the tush. No buns of steel here. And instead let the body get heavy. Starting to feel the effect of gravity. Really feeling the breath inside the body. Whenever the mind wanders, which of course we know it will, we'll just gently but firmly guide it back to paying attention to the breath. Feeling those subtle sensations each time you inhale, the front body pressing into the mat. And each time you exhale, watching the back body as it floats closer towards the earth. Relax the jaw. Continue experiencing the breath as you wait for the patient release of the upper back muscles. If it feels right for you here, you might even lengthen the breath without causing strain, of course. Letting each exhale serve as the reminder to release and let go of anything that you're holding on to. And eventually you may notice that the chest ends up closer toward the floor as the upper back muscles soften. You can feel free to stay here longer, meditating on the breath. And for the purpose of our practice together, go ahead and slide your hands under the shoulders, drawing the elbows in and down as you engage the abs. On your next inhale, press up onto the hands and knees, and then exhale the hips towards the heels into child's pose. Let the forehead rest on the mat as you stretch the arm forward. Feeling long in the side body, but bending the elbows slightly, again freeing the neck. Taking a few cycles of breath here, consciously breathe into the back as you inhale. And again, noticing where you're holding tension, completely let go as you exhale. Last full inhale and complete exhale. You'll use your next inhale to press into the palms as you begin to walk them in towards the knees, lifting and lengthening the torso up. As you gently roll onto the right side, bringing your feet in front of you. Scoot to the middle of your mat, and then lower the back all the way down. Bending at the knees, stacking the heels directly underneath them. The knees and heels will be hip distance apart as you gaze down toward the tip of your nose or at one point at the ceiling. You might benefit from bringing the big toes in slightly, helping to engage the quads and rolling them in slightly. Again, helping to bring the lower back nice and open and wide. Inhale, press into the ball mounts and heels as you engage the lifts and lift the hips off the mat toward the ceiling. As you exhale, lower onto the back one vertebrae at a time. You'll inhale, lift the hips, and this time sink the arms over the head alongside the ears, expanding the chest. You'll let the exhale bring the arms and hips down at the same time. Notice any tendency to want to speed up this movement here, slow down the breath. Let it guide the movement. Taking a couple more rounds of this dynamic bridge pose. Each time you inhale, maybe lifting up a little higher, expanding the front body. Each time you exhale, again, lowering down slowly. Pay attention to what you're doing and finish the cycle that you're on. Now re-engage the legs and root through the triangle points of the feet. That's the inner outer ball mount and heels. Lift the hips up, roll the shoulders under the body, and if it's possible, interlace the fingers. Otherwise, you'll bring the arms as close under the body with the palms face up. Just promoting a broad collarbone here. Whichever hand position you take, draw the shoulders in and down. Keep the gaze steady at one internal or external point, and use the breath to create more space in the chest. Each time you inhale, feel the breath expand the container of the front body. And as you exhale, breathe into the chest, the collarbones, the shoulders, maybe even the neck. And stay here as long as you can maintain a comfortable quality breath, just like the one you created at the beginning of the practice. On your next exhale, use the breath again to lower down one vertebrae at a time. And eventually you'll open the arms like a goalpost, bending the elbows at 90 degrees. Alongside the head with the palms face up. Bringing the soles of the feet together and letting the knees open wide in this recline bound angle pose. You'll actively press the ball mounts and heels together, enough that you can scoop the tailbone under and lengthen it towards your heels. Still in tune with your breath. Inhale the chin toward your right shoulder and stay for the exhale. Next inhale, you'll take the chin towards your left shoulder, again staying for the exhale. Continuing to let these mindful movements release stored tension in the neck, taking as many rounds as you need. On an inhale, you'll close the knees together like a book, drawing them in towards your chest, wrapping the arms around the knees or shins and grabbing onto opposite wrists, forearms, or elbows. Keeping the shoulders on the mat at first. Getting a long neck here, but letting the neck be loose as you begin to gently rock from side to side, gently massaging the back. And then taking your time to eventually work down to final relaxation pose, extending both legs straight, and bringing the heels as wide as the yoga mat, and letting the toes gently drip open. You'll peel the arms away from the side body, turning the palms face up. And take the time, if you have a hair tie, to release it here. Softening in the shoulders, enjoying a free neck. And starting to feel the weight of the body completely supported beneath you. Releasing any unnecessary tension that you might still be holding on to in the face, the jaw, relaxing the tongue. If you haven't already, completely releasing the control of the breath as it returns to its natural rhythm. If the mind is still active, begin to gently watch the rise and fall of the breath on the belly. Again, letting each exhale be a reminder to relax and release, completely let go. And then taking your time, begin to slowly deepening the breath, keeping the eyes closed down, using an inhale to reach the arms over the head alongside the ears, letting the feet meet for one last stretch. Then bending the knees, rolling over to the right side, letting the head rest on the upper arm, taking a couple of cycles of breath here. And then keep the chin tucked in towards the chest as you begin to press up through the palms, gently rolling up, letting the head be the last to come up. We'll return where we began, sitting in a simple cross-leg posture. And gently closing down the eyes. Giving yourself these last few moments here to simply notice how it feels to be here now. And bringing the palms together to touch. Gently bowing the head down towards the heart, thanking yourself for taking this time. Remembering that you can always return to this place of peace, this constant calm within you, simply by slowing down and consciously connecting to your breath. Take a deep inhale. Exhale, relax the body. Gently lifting the head back onto the spine. And taking your time when you're ready to slowly, gently open your eyes. Namaste. Until next time.